You're on the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. President Trump is will have a rally in a church in Florida. Can you say 501c3? Now, in my view, there are so many things wrong with this, I don't even know where to start. First, it's a Miami area church that's hosting the rally. Secondly, the rally is specifically oriented toward pastors. Thirdly, the title of the rally is, quote, Evangelicals for Trump Coalition Launch. And finally, the host pastor is dismissing the criticisms he's receiving as ridiculous. The infamous atheistic group Freedom From Religion Foundation has written a letter to the Internal Revenue Service urging an investigation into this Miami area church's tax-exempt status. That would happen when the church agreed to host a rally for President Donald Trump. The church, it's called King Jesus International Ministry in West Kendall, is pastored by Guillermo Maldonado. According to Fox News, the church was chosen to host a gathering of 70 Christian pastors for the, quote, Evangelicals for Trump Coalition launch, end of quote. It was scheduled for Friday, 2 days ago, at 5 o'clock. The selection of the site stimulated all kinds of controversy in the local area. Hispanic leaders criticized predominantly Spanish-speaking congregation for hosting the president, and some expressed concern that any parishioners who are illegal immigrants might be deported if they attended. Maldonado, for his part, dismissed these criticisms as ridiculous, saying, quote, I ask you, do you think I would do something where I would endanger my people? I'm not that dumb. I don't think the president would do such a thing. Don't put your race or your nationality over being a Christian. Be mature. If you want to come, do it for your pastor. That's a way of supporting me. End of quote. When did doing it for your pastor become a reason for attending a political rally? Or anything for that matter? Well, the answer is somewhere in the 1960s and 70s. The same time the charismatic movement took off. You know, when the idea that rational, sane Bible worship was thrown out in favor of music with a rock beat and or emotional lyrics. When the overtly emotional and occultic style gibberish was characterized as somehow speaking in an angelic language known only to God and the angels. When swooning, hopping around, acting out in hyper ways described what happened when people are captivated by the Holy Spirit of God. Emphasis on the word holy. And when the systematic teaching of the Bible doctrines went right out the door. Here's a sincere, politically conservative leader of God's people telling them and the world that supporting a political candidate is somehow on the same level as being a Christian, and that their highest priority should be doing it for your pastor. I'm here to tell you Christianity and politics don't mix well at all. And politics has no place in the church. Politics and politicians are oriented toward using churches and church people for their own purposes. And history demonstrates that those purposes have never benefited the church. Not the local church, not the church at large. There are 501c3 organizations that orient around Christian values and purposes. Alternatives is one. Alternatives sponsors this program. However, not all 501c3 organizations are churches. The tax exemption is given in light of the religious value these organizations have, but encouraging people to vote for one candidate or another, that's not one of them. Here at the Bible Forum, you get information. You don't get instruction on how to vote. Information rooted in Bible principle and Christian doctrine, not political dogma. Bringing a presidential candidate into your church in order to encourage people to vote for him or to her is not a religious thing, and certainly not a church activity. But the pattern has been set. Primarily black churches and secondarily liberal churches have set the example. When Barack Obama was running for office, he made the rounds. Before that, many black political candidates stood in churches all across America to tell people just how good it would be to elect them instead of their opponents. I predicted then, 12, 15 years ago, that what they were doing would change some churches forever. And here we are. My guess is this pastor, this church, is charismatic. I don't know. But the charismatics are generally the ones who favor result over Bible doctrine. Here are some comments by people who either attended or are members of King James International Ministry. On May 10th, 2019, someone wrote, "The presence of God is in this place. I've seen so many signs, miracles, and healings, a place where the truth, the word, is taught and encourages spiritual growth." Another one says, "This church is amazing. There's music and women dancing and twerking and God's Spirit moving everywhere. Really fun." In bold print, it was stated in this comment, "You will not learn about God. You will instead learn about the views, philosophies, feelings, and musical lineup in this corporation. Just remember, have fun." Someone else wrote, "I love my church. The Spirit of God moves in this place. Apostle Guillermo and Profeta Ana Maldonado are awesome." Profeta, she's a prophetess. "The entire pastoral staff is wonderful, and the praise and worship with new wine is amazing. I spent a long time finding a church where you feel the Spirit of God moving. You see God moving with miracles, signs, and wonders. I love this church. They're my family." Enough said? I think so.